Okay, hey, Ryan here with Tyler Kazar. Did I say your name right? From mepush.com?
Yep, you got it.
Great. And what we're going to talk about today, how to protect your business from ransomware hackers. And I snuck the word Bitcoin in there because there's a lot of talk about people wanting Bitcoin in return for releasing the ransomware, however you would say that.
Gotcha. Yep.
So go ahead, Tyler. You're going to run us through some different ways that a business owner can protect themselves against this very thing.
All right. So the biggest thing is actually surrounding email. So most of these attacks, when you talk about the Bitcoin ransomware hackers, it's going to come through email. So two things about email: never open or interact with email that comes from a source that you don't trust. That should be a red flag right there. Most people have spam filters that will catch a lot of that. But regardless, if it doesn't hit your spam filter and it hits your inbox, if you don't know where it's from or don't recognize it, don't interact with it. Just delete it and get rid of it.
Okay.
The second thing is, even if you see something from a source that you think is trustworthy, if it has an attachment and you're not expecting that attachment, don't interact with it. A lot of these attacks come through fake attachments. So most people have heard of the old, oh, UPS sent you a package and here's an attachment that you're tracking. No, if you're not expecting a package, don't click on the attachment.
Gotcha.
So that's going to get a lot of it for you, but there's also other things you can do as well.
So those are the major things, and people are also going to need to educate their employees about this stuff too.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So maybe just forward this video would help, but that's the hard part. Somebody watching this would know, okay, well, I'm not going to do this now, but make sure you tell other people at your company.
Exactly. Yep. And it's continuous education, and everybody's human, and that's why that's exploited the most, because email is very human as far as who interacts with it and who doesn't. So definitely education for employees is a big deal.
Great. And I'm going to take a step back. Maybe we jumped in too quick. Do you want to explain quickly, in case somebody's wondering, what a ransomware attack is?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
So ransomware is really when you get an infection and they are holding something of value and wanting you to pay to get it back. So most commonly, what we see nowadays is they get an infection on your machine that actually encrypts your files. And they will then say, oh, hey, now that we have you infected and we encrypted your files and you can't use them, we want you to pay us money in Bitcoin to get them back, which I don't recommend doing at all. And that's why this is important to not let it happen in the first place. Because once you start going down that rabbit hole of trying to get Bitcoin and pay the ransomware, I've seen it get pretty nasty. So that's basically what ransomware is. It's just holding something of value and asking you to pay to get it back.
Gotcha. So it's yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, it just occurred to me we should probably bring that up. And then the first point, of course, of the 5 we have here is just be careful with the email. This kind of goes without saying, but it's good to remind people to not open an email that comes from a source you don't trust, but also watch out for those attachments if you're not expecting.
Absolutely.
Yep. Next item you have here is content filtering.
So content filtering is just a fancy way of saying what websites you can and can't visit for what number of reasons. So the reason I'm bringing up content filtering specifically in regards to ransomware is because a lot of ransomware attacks, once you interact with the attachment or however they're trying to get the ransomware on your machine, it has to reach out to a server to actually get the files to infect you. So a lot of times you can narrow down where those files are being pulled from and block access to that IP across the board. So commonly, we'll see it where we roll it out to a number of machines. Once we find out where it is coming from, we can roll it out to machines, and just even if somebody, pulls a human move, completely normal, opens the attachment, does everything you're not supposed to do, it can still be stopped. That's by blocking access to that IP that's known to have those files on it.
Great. And are there like central repositories or something that you would install that has a list of all these websites or IPs? Or
yes. So most commonly the way that we would use content filtering is actually managed from a dashboard. So we can see all machines on the network that we take care of, and we can actually roll out changes across the board. So it's more just as soon as we find out that there's new attacks coming from this IP, this source, we can do a few clicks, make a few changes, hit the apply button, and it will roll out to all those computers and say, no longer can you access anything from this IP address.
So a company like MePush, I'm typing here, can probably keep a lot of your clients up to date at once as you learn about new threats.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, Ken.
Yeah, and there are general databases that you get updates from. So like WebRoot, Symantec has their own version. So we do a combination of that and some changes on our own once we identify other things. So it's really just blocking things that are known that get reported across the board, and then things we come across that we can manually add and deploy to our clients.
Right. So it's helpful. I mean, point is, it's helpful to have somebody watching out for this stuff because most business owners are not sitting there watching those databases.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing you have here is antivirus. A lot of people know what that is, but you want to speak a little bit about how it can help here?
Yep. So antivirus is just going to help pretty much across the board if you start to get an infection. So, antivirus is designed to, stop your machine from doing things that it views as a threat. So there's wide ranges of how strict an antivirus can be. But just on a basic level, it's designed to be that level after content filtering. So if you happen to have something start happening on the machine, antivirus is your next best bet to kind of stop it in its tracks. So whether it's an executable that tries to run, whether it's accessing certain system files, there's different triggers that can happen, but it's really the next level of what happens after it gets past content filtering.
Great. Now, I happen to be somebody who's a little, maybe I'm a little careless with this particular thing. I feel like it's an inconvenience to have antivirus blocking stuff all day, so I leave stuff pretty wide open. What would you advise most businesses do? Should they be a little more on the paranoid side here, or is there a middle line between what I do and totally being paranoid?
So it's kind of a combination. The biggest thing is just to stay up to date with it. And the reason for that is similar to the content filtering, there's always new antivirus updates that come out. So there might be a new infection that's happening, and a company like, Symantec or McAfee or whoever it may be with the antivirus product puts out an update that's then designed to stop that from happening in the future. So really, if you're not keeping your antivirus up to date or if it's not managed, you're at a big disadvantage compared to people who are kind of on the ball. What we do for that is we actually provide managed antivirus. So we make it so you don't have to worry about it, because we realize it is a pain. You get the pop-ups, you see the updates, you think, do I do it? Do I not do it? How long is this going to take? Is this, really worth it? We would take care of that.
And sometimes you don't even know if it's if it's actually your antivirus software or if it's some kind of hack. So,
Yep.
So
exactly.
yeah, I'd rather have a guy like you look at it than push a button.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Security updates.
Yeah, so security updates is, we're kind of going from top down to the bottom here. Really what I mean by security updates is Windows, Windows more than anything. So, Windows has security updates that they do consider critical updates, so they get pushed out to everything. And it's kind of the backup to antivirus. So it's designed to, again, you get updates, it's going to catch things that are known to be out there. It's going to give you as much gusto behind your protection as possible. So again, kind of the same thing as antivirus. As you get out of date, you become more and more vulnerable.
Gotcha. So it's an extra level of protection after antivirus. Keep your Windows up to date.
Yep, you got it.
All right, and the last of the 5 main points we have here, 3, 2, 1 backups.
Yes. So the reason this is included is because you need to be proactive about your backups. And that is because the encryption, if you do not pay the ransomware, you have no other option but to use your backup. So the 3-2-1 rule is you want to have 3 copies of your data at any given point in time. You want to have it backed up to 2 different types of media. So media as in, external hard drive and other internal storage. So things that are 2 different physical types of media. And the 1 is for 1 copy of your data offsite. So it's just an easy way to think about, where your data is, how it's being backed up, and really just more about failover and, having your data in multiple places as opposed to relying on 1 single flash drive backing up once every 2 weeks.
Right.
So it's just being consistent about your backups.
Great. What was 3 again? I was typing something else.
Got it. 3 was 3 copies of your data.
3 copies of your data.
Yep.
2 different types of physical media. So that would be like a flash drive, a disk, hard drive.
External hard drive, Synology, network attached storage. Yep.
Okay, and then a copy of the data off-site.
Yes.
So I imagine that some of what you guys do involves creating the physical media. Maybe you keep a copy of your client's data or send it somewhere else.
Absolutely. So what we generally would do is we would help our clients get to that level of backup. So, get the 3-2-1 rule in place at a minimum. And then we have tools that monitor that, and we monitor the backups themselves. So as opposed to it being a guessing game, are my backups working? Are they not working? Is my hard drive failed? We monitor and manage that for our clients. So really it's similar to the antivirus, to the content filtering, to the security updates. We provide solutions that take it off of their shoulders and really make it our problem.
Great. So that's great. 5 points here, 5 ways to protect yourself against the ransomware happening in the first place. And then I threw a little extra line in here, for people to keep in the back of their head. What should somebody do if it happens? I mean, because there's some ways you can go wrong, right? There's things you could screw up, make the problem worse.
Yep, absolutely. So first thing to do, generally these infections start on a single machine and they spread across a network. So if you notice that you start to open up a file and it says it can't open because it doesn't recognize it, and you see a bunch of weird letters and gibberish, shut the computer down.
Okay.
That's the first thing you need to do, because if you have any chance of stopping it from spreading, it's by taking that machine offline, so it can't spread to other machines. Second thing is, do not proceed with the ransomware unless the only exception would be if you have data that is not backed up anywhere. You didn't, have it backed up. You have no recent data, and you're going to go out of business. That's one of the very few situations where it could be applicable. But for the bulk of people, you want to not proceed with the ransomware because it carries its own set of additional risks. So by proceeding, you are adding additional risk to yourself. So it really should be a last case resort.
Okay, so don't negotiate with terrorists, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've had a few clients that have reached out to us if we don't take care of them, and they are already in the situation to reach out to us and say we need help, and want us to try to go down that road because they didn't have backups, didn't have anything to restore from, and it gets pretty ugly pretty fast. So.
Yeah, they can be irrational to deal with, right? A lot of people wouldn't know where to get the Bitcoin in the first place.
Right.
And that comes with its own risks and things that you need to know. So you probably want to, don't try to do that on your own. Call a company like MePush if you are going to actually try to clean things up and pay the ransom. You want help there.
Yep, exactly.
Are there any other, once somebody's infected, any other, it sounds to me like the backups are really going to save a lot of stress.
Yeah. Yep. And so that's the final point that I would say is, if you do have backups, just start the restore. There's really not much you can do as far as decrypting the data. It's just the way encryption works. So it is pretty strong stuff. It's pretty hard to overcome. So start the restore of your data. And kind of touching on the first point there of what to do if it happens. You may not have the most recent data, but any data at all from backups is going to get you further along than no data, obviously. So just restore from backups, whatever media have.
Great. So if anybody's watching this right now, if you're not doing all this stuff, if you need help with it, of course, mepush.com, Tyler and his teammates are in the business of doing this stuff, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And is that the best way to get a hold of you, Tyler? Is it Tyler at mepush or?
Yep, Tyler at mepush.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me. Or you can visit our website, like Ryan said, mepush.com.
Great. All right. Thanks a lot, Tyler.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Ryan.
Have a good one.
You too.